All right, and here we go. Get a mobile call to Canton, Mississippi, and these are the codes that I got. All right, check them all out. I got a p0014 and a 17, which is normally going to be a timing chain issue, something like that. Okay, a variable timing solenoid. It could be that. I don't think it is. And I did a swap-a-roo on it, so it's definitely did not change. So, and we got a the map sensor code, brake booster code. That's the one I'm talking about. Do not change the brake sensor. If you get that code, check the source of vacuum first, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. Okay. All right, she said she didn't have any check engine lights on before this happened. But I know she did have a hard brake pedal. You could barely push it down. So the brake pedal is working now because I already replaced the vacuum pump. But since I got to go back in there and check some information that I found online and do the timing chain, possibly, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to inspect it again because I found a technical bulletin on it as well. So we're going to do all that today too. So hard pedal is fixed. Here's the long crank time. All right, it's really long. It'll start sometimes like that. All right. Let's do it again. Now, when I first got this vehicle, it was running crappy, and you know, the oil was low. It was running crappy, and it was shutting off all the time, and that's mainly because when you got these variable timing solenoids, if the oil is too low or it's dirty, your car's timing is going to be all thrown off. It's going to be running like crap. You're going to think you'll be needing a tune-up, but you really just need to add oil in your car. I see that a lot, you guys. So check your oil level on these newer cars especially. Make sure the condition of the oil is good. Make sure it's at the level where it can operate correctly and run your motor like it's supposed to. Okay, oil level and condition is very important. I can't stress it enough. All right, so it's running, it's idling good now because I put oil in it. It wasn't because I got a new vacuum booster on there and everything just cleared up, because obviously it didn't. So I still have timing codes that are still going to come up for me. And the ones that are going to come up are going to be these two, the 14 and the 17, and the p0106 code will come up. All right, so let's go ahead and start. All right, now this is what I'm going to check, and I'll explain this a little bit later too. This is where the alignment, your vacuum pump connects right there. All right there in that slot. And I don't believe these are going to be aligned. They're not aligned, that those pieces from the vacuum pump were traveling in here and probably caught it, stopped it from turning, and spun it a little bit on the shaft, is what I believe would happen. So I'm going to remove the valve covers. We're going to check these alignment marks. All right, make sure that is lined up with that when I remove the valve cover. All right, and I believe it's going to be off, and that's going to fix our problem. So, all right, before we do that, because I want to learn a little bit about this myself. So it's a 2016. I'm just now getting the 16s and 17s now because they're out of warranty. So I expect stuff like this to happen quite often with the Malibu, truth be told. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to get back into the diagnostic screen and we're going to pull codes, and I'll show you what I have on there right now. Now I do have a cam sensor unplugged, the one that's right there by the reluctor, that the signal, the sensor that reads the reluctor. And these are the codes that I have now, the only codes that come up. All right, now if I was to plug up that sensor that I'm going to show you in a minute, we'll have different codes. We'll have 14 and 17, p0014 and p0017 will come up. This one will not show back up. So I know that the sensor is reading the reluctor. I just think the reluctor is just out of time, which is throwing a 14 and a 17. So if you get a 14 and a 17 coming up, it doesn't necessarily have to be the timing chain. You could have, and if you if you had a hard brake pedal, the same time, you probably got a bad reluctor. But you know, I don't know yet. Let's pull a valve cover off and let's see what we got. I've done this already. I've had this valve cover off before, so you know, things may go a little bit easier for me this time. I got the first one out of the way, so that's cool. I can dig it. Did I just say that? Sound like my dad. All right, this little plastic piece or foam piece comes right out. Apparently there is a bulletin out on it that it will mess up stuff. So, and there's some more pieces and stuff. Okay. So anyways, we're going to remove it. There's no rebuilding it. You're just going to have to buy a new one. I think the new one was like 116 bucks. So it's not too terribly bad. But if it explodes like mine did, you will have to remove the valve cover and make sure you get all the pieces out of there and change your oil, because you don't want those little bitty particles from the broken pieces to fall down into the oil and, you know, try to get sucked up through the motor. Hopefully the filter catches it, but you know, I've seen it happen tons and tons of times. So change your oil. All right, let's take the valve cover off. I took all the bolts out all the way around it, the inside valve cover bolts and the outside valve cover bolts. So we should be able to move this thing a little bit. It's the intake side, this is the exhaust side. We're working on the exhaust side because that's where the vacuum pump is located, and those are where the codes are leading us, the exhaust side, just so that you can follow along, okay? I'm sorry. Let's remove the vacuum pump before you can remove the valve cover, okay? It's got to come off. All right, once you get the valve covers off, the vacuum pump off, you're going to push the valve cover driver's side so you can miss the seal, and just simply pull it up out of there like that. You notice I did not take off the lines. I just have them here. I'm going to lay it down. All right. And it looks like it is out of sync, y'all. Let me bring you down here. All right, come over here. The timing chain is tight. Timing chain is tight. Okay. All right, it's going to be a 15 millimeter on the camshaft sprocket. Just slowly turn it. It's got compression on it. I did not take out the spark plugs. If you take out the spark plugs, turning it will be a lot easier. Effortless. Almost effortless. Okay. So almost got it on top. Right there in the center. of the matrix 2 mark. Okay, that's perfect. Let's see if these marks are lined up. It doesn't appear that they are. All right, we got our matrix. That's what they're talking about in there. It's right there on top of the camshaft. That should line up with that tang, right? Okay, and that should line up. Okay, so that should line up. We're looking at that tang, see if it's directly lined up to that matrix point. All right, the tab is way down there, and of course the matrix is right here. So that's clearly all that trash was to caught down up in there and grab this reluctor wheel, was supposed to spin on the shaft, and just kind of knocked it and twisted it. It looks like it might see a little twist mark right there, and it kind of went in a little bit. Let me see if I can show you. I don't know if that's... So it just twisted on the shaft. Quite a bit. That's enough to throw a p0014 and a 17. But I would imagine only if your brake pedal is hard. What I'd like to do before I start disassembling, I'd like to tap on that a little bit just to see if I can move it. You know, not Thor tap, but just a little bit of tap to see if I can get it to move too. Yeah, clearly I can get it to move. Yeah, that's actually pretty easy to do. So if I was to put this thing back together again, this thing would be running like a top again. You know, I can't move it with my hands. It's a real shitty design, to be honest with you. It's a real shitty design. So what to do? You know what, this is just a video to show you the alignment on that in case you ever do break a, in case your vacuum pump does break, you know what to look for. Man, that spun pretty easy too. Guys, that's the end of the video. I got a lot of work to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and knock this thing out, and that'll be a wrap. I'm out. Peace. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it helped. Hard brake pedal, runs like crap. The sensor is not hitting. There's a sensor. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't show you. There's a sensor in the back of the valve cover. That reluctor, that wheel I just tapped, that's what reads on that. So if that's supposed to be hitting here and it's not hit, it's hitting late, you're gonna have camshaft codes. If your brake pedal is hard, you know, you probably, that reluctor kind of shifted on you, and that's why you're getting camshaft codes. Hope this helps, man. I'm out. Peace. Oh, all right. We don't want to hear no long crank times. I just shut off the car. It should start right up immediately. There you go. Let's do it a couple more times. Perfect. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Guys, and that's the quick diagnosis tips of the day. You guys have a good one. I'm out. Peace.